Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow!
Looks like Feather Duster Kitty is here to use her feather duster, or as my sister-in-law would say, feather duster. Oh, I'm using up valuable time apparently in her 40-second work week. What? Go to it. Do some come on, do some cleaning. Earn your keep. Basil, I think we just aren't gonna. Oh, gravy train arrived. Kristen's gonna feed them, and that's the end of time for eating break. Okay. Okay, hold on. Oh, hold on. One of these phones is ringing. I don't know which one it is. Okay. Oh, Basil, it's check it out, Tweety. It's just coming from kind of across the other side of the world. Tweety gave me the inverted flick of the third feather of the right wing, and I think that right wing. Basil, Tweety never uses the right wing. Oh, now you understand why. Okay, it's Did you ask someone to call me and give us their email so we could communicate with them a little bit better? Okay, yeah. Basil gives us every flick of every whisker on the left side of his face, left wing, if you will, and. Yeah, said yeah. Okay, and what is your email address? Okay, I'm going to spell it out and make a note of it, Basil, and I'll make a note of it too. Hold on. Not exactly a writing instrument, but we'll do with it. Okay, I'll carve it into the paper. Okay, BENJAMIN NETUN at yahoo.com. Okay. Benjamin Netten at yahoo.com. Okay, Tweety, you've been holding back. This is a person of note. Okay, Basil wants me to repeat that back to him with a little bit of emphasis. Benjamin Netten at yahoo.com. Okay. Thanks for calling, and Basil will ever let me know who's actually calling from Israel. We'll have a conversation. Thanks. Bye. Benjamin Netten at yahoo.com. Okay. So what do we, what's the topic for the news? Oh, of course. Oh, Basil's been pretty interested in this, what's going on with Benjamin Netanyahu, president of Israel, came and spoke to Congress, or at least the Republican side of Congress, this weekend. He noted that somehow or other, if we didn't stop Iran in its tracks right now, immediately, consequences would be in the offing very soon, immediately upon signing any kind of deal that would not force Iran to blow itself up and they would immediately have a nuclear weapon. And having a nuclear weapon, they would immediately want to fulfill their apparent lifetime ambition of wanting to destroy the state of Israel immediately. Okay. Basil's been following these things for a while, going back to 1996, and he showed me some videotape earlier. Actually, it was Jon Stewart that showed it to me on the Daily Show, but Basil had apparently given Jon Stewart the idea that he needed to do the story this way, because Jon Stewart is Jewish, but Jon Stewart doesn't belong to AIPAC, which we always thought of AIPAC as being the American Israeli Political Action Committee, which I guess is probably truer to the point. Something a little different than that. What? What does it stand for? Okay. Basil said it stands for AIPAC. AIPAC stands for Already Insane Pre-Adolescent Clowns. Got me. So Stewart is more in line as apparently a pretty sizable majority of Jewish Americans are, who, as it turns out, aren't really that impressed with anything the Republicans do because they vote Democratic. 65% of Jewish Americans vote Democratic Party and don't particularly like what the Republicans do anyway. But Basil sends me back in the time machine with videotape. And through the help of Jon Stewart of the Daily Show, he finds some 2002 remarks. Now, that's 13 years ago. And Netanyahu makes a bold prediction that if we would just invade Iraq and take out Saddam Hussein, now you'll have to look this up. It's out there. We don't have that capacity at this moment in our studio not of note. If you go back to 2002, prior to the after 9/11 and prior to the invasion and occupation of Iraq, Netanyahu made some remarks in front of a group. I think it may have been AIPAC, as I mentioned, the Already Insane Pre-Adolescent Clowns, or the American Israeli Political Action Committee, or whatever they changed it to sound less aggressive and less bullying than a political action committee, and stood in front of a group and he said, all we have to do is take out Saddam Hussein, take him out of power, and as Marty Heiser, our good friend Marty Heiser, would like to say, and he uses the term, and I'm applying it to this, Marty always says, and butterflies will fly out of my ass. He likes to say it, it's cute. I'm going to apply it to this. Saddam Hussein said that, Benjamin Netanyahu said, if we would just take out Saddam Hussein, then butterflies would fly out of everybody's ass in the Middle East, and immediately there would be peace in the Middle East, and peace would spread, and you'd have all kinds of great things happening. Iran would be completely disarmed because they didn't. Now, there's a disconnect here somewhere, Basil. Okay, Basil's giving me a big smile, and he's saying, J Street, meow, meow. Said, yeah, listen to J Street, because J Street is an alternative group to AIPAC, and J Street is named that way because it's not on K Street where all the lobbyists are in Washington, or where a large concentration of lobbying groups are located on K Street. J Street is in fact named J Street because it's sounds like K Street, but J, of course, for Jewish. So it's a Jewish group that doesn't exactly think like Benjamin Netanyahu or Benjamin Net at Yahoo. Whoa, too early. Yahoo. Basil said, "What the?" No, he wants to do it the other way. He wants to start off with a slight bit of emphasis. What the? And then, when he gets a little bit more agitated at this craziness of Netanyahu talking before Congress, what the? Or what the? So here we go. So 2002, Netanyahu makes the bold prediction that all we would have to do is take out Saddam Hussein, and immediately, as the members of the Bush administration told us, George W. Bush administration told us, that we'd be greeted as liberators. Oil would get less expensive, but there were a lot of claims, none of which came true, and we know that for since 2003, when we actually invaded, that 12 years ago, it'll be 12 years ago next month when shock and awe began. It'll actually be 12 years. Yeah, right at the end of March, beginning of April 2003. That shock and awe took place, and I remember that because I was in Ireland, hadn't met Basil yet, hadn't met Kristen yet. I was in Ireland with Diane, and we flew in to the airport where flights were leaving to drop bombs and other sundry things on Baghdad and on other parts of Iraq to teach them a lesson and to get rid of Saddam Hussein. And they apparently they dropped quite a few bunker buster bombs on the city of Baghdad on those first couple of nights of shock and awe, first couple of days, and didn't get Saddam Hussein. But a bunker buster bomb is one that has the capacity to explode and go deep in the ground, and then a secondary explosion goes off and levels basically an entire building or a city block or something, some large bit of real estate. And in a major city, you can imagine that not only misfires, but just hitting the target they narrowed it down to, you're going to kill a lot of civilians. I mean, it was a city. Once the bombing starts, people haven't got they're afraid to come out and leave the city, and in fact, why should they? Because it's their city. They're a sovereign nation, and this stuff shouldn't be going on in one country attacking a sovereign nation. It hasn't really happened quite so boldly since a blitzkrieg back in the 1930s by another leader of another country. Of course, it hasn't happened. It has happened since then, where the CIA and the United States government at the time, and it could be Kennedy, could be Johnson, could be a lot of different presidents since then. Where has been a lot of different presidents since then, where they've done stuff like assassinate leaders of foreign countries. Read between the lines, Salvador Allende. Okay, Basil's okay. Said meow, 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 meow. He said General Due in Vietnam, Salvador Allende, Manuel Noriega said, if we want, we'll have to do a whole nother Basil BuddhaCat Presents marathon in order to just recite off the numbers of leaders of foreign countries that have been assassinated, captured, taken out by the CIA. If we want to include all the folks and all the civilians in Iraq that were murdered during shock and awe. And then if we were to go into all the millions of people that were displaced during the Iraq invasion and occupation and ended up partly in Syria, which wasn't really helpful to their stability, and then we'll have to devote the entire Basil BuddhaCat Presents calendar for the next 4 years just to read all those names off. So, suffice it to say, a lot of bad stuff. And here we go. We've got Benjamin Netanyahu addressing Congress and going basically saying we have to do whatever it takes to stop Iran. And you could read between the lines there because Netanyahu, I'm sure, would like nothing better than to see us drop bunker buster bombs. And John McCain, 2008. John McCain's running for president, and he's with a group of people, and this is before the day when people didn't really think about the fact that everything that they say and do is captured on tape and then displayed to the rest of the world. John McCain stood before a bunch of people and sang a song to the tune of the Beach Boys' Barbara Ann, and he sang "Bomb Bomb Iran, Bomb Bomb Iran." So there you go. There's a lot of nuts out there that are looking to do some very crazy things, and spurred on in large part by Benjamin Netanyahu, which I guess according to the Republicans, he's their president of the United States. Okay, let's rewind a little further back. Basil's got another one he wants me to talk about briefly. 1996. Same president, Benjamin Netanyahu. There was a president in between. I think Ariel Sharon was president for a bit of time, and Ariel Sharon was not of the same ilk, not cut from the same cloth as Benjamin Netanyahu. He was a more intelligent, more thoughtful, more peaceful guy. And 1996, Benjamin Netanyahu gives a speech where he says, and this is 26. This is 19 years ago. Gives a speech in which he says, "If we don't stop Iran now, with whatever it takes to stop them now, then the consequence in the very near future will be that Iran will have a nuclear weapon." So if you see that he said the same thing in 1996 as he did in 2015, 19 years later, that apparently Iran's on a very slow track to accomplishing what Netanyahu's been campaigning against for 19 years. So, okay, so probably should put a little positive spin on it and talk about J Street. You want me to talk about J Street? Said, nah, later. Later. Said, actually, what we want to do is we want to mention the leader of the House of Representatives who officially sent the invitation to Benjamin Netanyahu, or Netanyahu as the case may be, to address the joint session of Congress. And a fellow by the name of, I'm not going to say it like that. Well, I guess we have to do this first before we have fun with his name. Corporate sponsor, the Mr. Potato Schlong game. Your gals will love it. Okay. PA&W root beer. It's that extra letter in the front that makes all the sparkling, spicy difference. Schweppes. Schweppervescence. The rose. The hemorrhoid rose. What are we missing? The 12 ball. For the Netanyahus in the world, the ping pong balls. We're losing some of our. Now we got to toss this because Dermasil's out. They canned us as they're not corporate sponsors anymore. After we talked about them, I guess they didn't like the fact that we talked about them during the shows we did on vaccines and things that vaccines can do and the potential danger there, and so There goes Dermicell. Okay. Basil says, what the? And for a little more emphasis, what the? And for a little bit more emphasis, since Dermicell would like to silence us, what the full? Okay. We still have Tootsie Roll, don't we, Basil? Hey, got a new one. Look at that. This is in honor of good friend of Progressive Soup and also good friend of Basil BuddhaCat Presents, as of now. Sergio, Elizabeth, and Oscar, good friends of mine personally, good friends of Basil's, good friends of the show. Cafe Bustelo. Now, Sergio, Elizabeth, and Oscar are here from Mexico for quite a few years, and they're loving being Americans and working on being official Americans. It's just a little bit of a long road, apparently, for people from countries south of the United States to become U.S. citizens. So, Cafe Bustelo. And what bad and what snarkiness can Basil say about Cafe Bustelo? He, where is it? Hold on. More piggy? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, okay. Basil says you can't say anything bad about it. Cafe Bustelo, it's the best coffee you can get. It's nice and big and strong. Cafe Espresso Medilo, espresso ground coffee, and it is strong. It is tasty. Comes in a vacuum pack. It's the cat's meow of coffees. And new sponsor also. So they're going to supply Kristen with an unlimited supply of Cafe Bustelo in exchange for said meow 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 meow. Set up. You bet. Okay. Now, our original corporate sponsor, still with us apparently, Tootsie Roll. And for you folks that watch us regularly, you know that Tootsie Roll is Basil's favorite candy. And how do we know it's Basil's favorite candy? Well, all you have to do is look in the litter pan and you know. There's your prima facie evidence that Tootsie Roll is the candy of all candies, endorsed by the cat of all cats. Okay. Now look at that. Walter brought in a rat. Thank you. Thankfully, it's not a real rat, so it won't be problematic. Won't get any unwanted diseases. Oh yeah, ping pong paddle, or padel, as Gary Shandling used to say on his show. Ping pong padel, and along with that, when the guys in Congress are visiting or getting a visit from Benjamin Netanyahu and listening to him speak, you have reduced size ping pong paddle balls, and when the real guys in Congress, the ones that align themselves with J Street and the members of J Street meet, you have a little bit more substantial balls. You know, they're a little bit, you know, of course, two of them. Okay. So, you also wanted to have, and it's in the middle of the night, so it's, you know, so I'm a little bit tired. Basil's up and at it because, you know, cats, nighttime, are you kidding? Basil loves to be up at nighttime. He loved to be up at nighttime. Walter and Oswald Cobblepot are constantly maneuvering around the house, chasing each other around in the middle of the night, using Kristen and my bed as a springboard on the way through the room and back around and downstairs, and you know, yeah, pretty crazy. So so you also wanted to get, you also say you have some call-ins coming. Okay. Well, Do I need to do the Bill Murray thing, and are they calling from the hereafter? Do I have to go like this? Basil's got a... Well, how about that? Okay. Not on the Inky Dinky phone. Not on the Cat in the Hat phone, which is off the hook, anyway. But it's on the mid-size phone, the Nickelodeon phone. And thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. May I ask who you are calling? Who you are? Hey, Basil. Okay, Basil was telling me before we went on the air that he's had some conversations recently with both Benjamin Netanyahu's cat and John Boehner's cat. Okay. It's actually, and Tweety, check and see if this is coming from Washington. Okay. It is. Okay. It says actually it's coming from Ohio, and it is, in fact, John Boehner's house cat. And, Basil, do you know what his name is? Basil knows. He says, you got to find out. You're the one that's talking to him. You ask him the questions. I mean, Basil's not going to chime in on this one. And John Boehner's house cat. What name do you go by? Says his name is Carrot Headface, or for short, Carrot Face. Okay. And I take it that means that you're an orange or orange and white striped tabby? Said, no. His person, John Boehner, took some dye and dyed him the color of John Boehner's face. Because he likes the color. He likes that orangey, that dark orangey look. So, okay, so your fur is dyed to make you look like your name. Carrot Face. Okay. Or, for long, Carrot Head Face. Okay. So, he says he can't talk because Boehner just walked in the door and he doesn't want to alert him that he's talking to us. Apparently, we're on the John Boehner no talk list. Okay. Well, nice talking with you. And he says he wants to get one more thing in because Boehner's dabbing a little something on his face to get that healthy glow, looking a little healthier. In the parlor, says he has a copy in front of him of the speech that Benjamin Netanyahu gave to the joint session of Congress, at least the neoconservative part of it, and he says the title of the speech is "Campaign Speech to My Vassals."
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street, and Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.